Steve?
Yes, Karl?
Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Oh, I know that look. I'll bite. Give me the answer.
Well, there were these two birds that actually weren't chickens, but they got together and they made a chicken egg. So it was the chicken egg that came first.
Well, Professor Wells, the question should really be, what came first, the proto-chicken or the proto-chicken egg?
Yes. Yes.
Yum, yum, yum. Yum, yum, yum. Yum, yum. Yum, yum. Yum, yum.
Hi everybody and welcome to another edition of One Chef One Critic. I'm Karl Wells, food critic for the Telegram.
And I'm Chef Steve Watson of Central Dairies.
Well, Steve, we've got all these eggs here. Why don't you give us an egg tip?
Absolutely, Karl. When cracking your eggs, especially in the morning for breakfast and things like that, or even for baking, you always tend to get some shell in there. And I'm one, I'd even put my finger in there to try and get it out. But
So you see, even professional
absolutely,
chefs
absolutely.
get shell in their egg mixture.
So all you have to do is just put the shell in there and straight out. See?
That's
Done.
a lovely tip.
Absolutely.
Can I give you a tip now?
Please do, Karl.
Well, save your eggshells, and when you're washing up, everybody's bound to have, grimy, stuck-on pots and pans.
Yeah.
Smash up your eggs and use them
Oh, to clean the
to
pans.
clean the pans.
Oh, my goodness.
And they work wonders.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's great. The other thing you can do with them is freeze them, and then the eggshells, pop them in your blender or your food processor with a little bit of water, whiz it, and it sharpens the blades.
Excellent. Oh, really? Very good. Excellent.
Oh, see, I'm full of surprises, aren't I? Well, coming up in the program today, we have a wonderful guest. Lynn Hammond is with us. She's a communications consultant. She's a women's advocate. She's a political pundit. Lots to talk about with Lynn today. What are we cooking?
Well, we're going to go down south. We're going to make some beautiful jerk chicken.
Oh, I love jerk chicken. Oh, those spices. I can smell it now. And we also have Chef DJ Lambe with us. He's from Oliver's, and he's going to be making jiggs dinner arancini. Who ever heard of such a thing? Well, you're going to see it made on our show today. Stick around. For a complete listing of One Chef One Critic recipes, wine lists, and more, check out our website. Let us know what you think of the show at 757-9600. Well, we are delighted to have as our guest now Lynn Hammond, communications consultant, and believe it or not, we haven't seen each other since you were 8 years old.
That's right.
And I was milking a cow.
Truth.
I guess we better tell folks about that. Where was that?
It was at a food and livestock show.
Yeah.
I went to a lot, so I'm not sure which one.
I went to a lot too.
Yeah, but I remember vividly you were doing the weather, standing next to a cow, and as you reminded me, that's right, you milked that cow that day.
I was milking that. Well, I was trying to milk the cow. I got very little to come out of those udders. So I obviously...
Karl, we've only got 9 minutes for this segment.
Yeah. Let's talk about what we're going to cook.
Well, that's great, because what we're going to be making is some jerk chicken today.
Oh, good.
So let's get started. I've got some beautiful chicken breasts and some chicken legs there, and I'm going to keep a bag for the sauce afterwards. But we'll make the most key ingredient for this is the flavouring that we want for it. So it's a lot of herbs and spices. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put some allspice into our blender. We're also going to have some cinnamon in there.
That's a lot of cinnamon.
Absolutely a lot of cinnamon. Some nutmeg in there. Actually, you need 2 teaspoons of that. And some thyme as well. We'll put a little bit of soya sauce.
Go big or go home.
Go big or go home. Some soya sauce and some hot sauce. And then we'll also chop some onions to go in there as well. Not shy with the hot sauce either. So what we're going to do, we're going to blend all that up and to our chicken and then put it into a bag. And what we'll do then is we'll barbecue it, or grill it. So what I've done here, with all that marinade that I've blended in there, I had to do this 24 hours ahead of time. So you get all those flavours and aromatic spices going through there. Absolutely. So what I'll do, I'll start to take some out there. I'm going to get you to grill it.
Okay. Can I ask you a question? Did you add any oil to it when you were...
Actually, what we did, we put a quarter cup of olive oil.
Okay.
Quarter cup of olive oil there as well. So, Karl, what I want you to do is I want you to get our curried rice on the way.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty well straightforward. You boiled a little bit of rice, add a little bit of curry powder. But maybe if you put a little bit of oil with your rice, because I hear that's a little tip you have for us.
Well, I use a little bit of oil because I think it keeps the grains from sticking together.
And that's what I do too.
Yeah, and also if you cook them in
I'll
the
just take
oil
it
at
out, then I'm going to let
first,
you
Sure.
grill it.
Okay.
you can brown them up a little bit at first as well, which is also a nice thing to do. You call yourself a fixer, a connector, a storyteller. Is that basically a description of you, Lynn, or of a good communications consultant?
I think it's it's both.
It's both.
Can I give that to you, Lynn?
Great, thanks.
Okay.
My background, first part of my career was in communications with government, government of Newfoundland, Labrador, and I did that for about a dozen years. You know, I kind of became, you know, that communications person you go to when things were going wrong. Municipal and provincial affairs, I worked on the Badger disaster for 3 weeks. You know, I became communications director, Department of Education, you know, changing school boards. Like there was tough times. I kind of ended up in that department. So that's how I guess I became known as a bit of a fixer.
Yeah, so, but you worked in the private sector and in government.
Yes. So
What are the differences between working in government and the private sector?
I think for me, in communications, the skill set was really transferable. I think the challenges was finding the different language to explain the difference.
I see, yeah.
Ultimately, for me, a big part of my job is helping people tell the story of what they do. So right now, I work with large companies, you know, telling the story of their work.
Do most companies do a good job at communicating
I think that-
these days? I mean,
Well, I think, you know, with industry, sometimes they stick to their own industry language. For example...
that can be confusing for
Yeah,
people.
yeah. So, you know, for example, you know, a mining company who uses, you know, language specifically to the industry of mining might not be all that appealing of an interest to the general public. But when you start talking about the employees who work there and the contributions to the economy and, you know, the role that company has in the province, then all of a sudden the story is not so much about the industry itself and what comes out of the ground, but the impacts of it.
Yeah, crisis communications is something I'd like to talk with you
Yeah.
about because this fascinates me. You know, companies get into some sort of a PR crisis, and quite often it's fascinating to see how different companies handle a crisis.
Right.
Some do it really badly,
Yeah.
others do a really good job of it. But what are some of the because I mean everything happens really quickly when there's that's the nature of a crisis.
Yeah.
It's like happening now. You know, you've got to get you know, press releases out now, that kind of thing. What are some of the pitfalls that people fall into when they're in crisis mode?
Well, the thing that I start with is tell the truth and tell it often. So people want information. If they don't have information, they will make it up, or they will make assumptions. And so if you...
So you've got 3 or 4 different stories.
Well, then you've got 3 or 4 different stories.
Yeah.
But the public wants information. And especially now with social media, they're going to get that information from somewhere. So it's better to get it from that accurate source right from the beginning. Also, a big part, and because of social media too, you know, monitoring, understanding what stories are being told, you know, about your company, finding out where there's incorrect information and fixing it, you know, quickly. Okay,
yeah.
I need to ask about that core.
The core here?
Yeah. So how did you, I should have watched better when you were cutting that,
Well.
the edges. So that's the way I cut,
Yeah, cut it
Right.
around.
Yeah.
I'll cut it straight in half, and then I'm just removing the core
and then
from
just
the,
chop it in that way.
into the
Okay.
triangle. And
Yeah,
what I'm
'cause
going to
I
be doing...
lose a lot of pineapple.
Well, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be adding that to the rice afterwards. So that'll go with the chicken, you see.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, to my rice.
To your rice.
Oh,
yes,
With
yes,
the
yes.
oil.
I was going
With
to,
the oil.
I was actually going to suggest that we add some pineapple.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
glad you-
I've never
I
done
knew
that.
you would.
glad you brought that up.
I've
Okay.
had pineapple on the barbecue too,
Oh,
which
it's
is
beautiful.
really good.
Oh, my goodness. With some beautiful ice cream with that. And have you ever barbecued cake on there as well?
No.
Oh, you've just put a piece of cake on there, nice marked. Oh, my goodness.
I can shake things too.
You
Look.
can.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. That chicken's going to be ready before his rice, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Good food cannot be rushed.
I know,
No.
I know, I know. I
So
fully
what's-
understand.
There's curry powder in that.
Yes, but what is this?
It's chicken.
Oh, this is chicken
Chicken
stock.
stock. Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah. I made that this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I made it this morning. It was beautiful. I roasted the bones and everything. And, yeah, took the fat off. It's beautiful. Now,
He does everything.
you did work in various government departments, but
Right.
really, your first job in government was as a House of Assembly page.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
That must have been fun.
well, you know what? And I make a point now.
You should explain what a page does.
I will. I make a point now to talking to university students in particular about opportunities when they're in university. Because I think that was the real kind of career opener for me, was working in the House of Assembly. So a page is the person who delivers notes and things within the House of Assembly. But you also have to sit through all the government debates and question period and everything. And of course, when I graduated from university, all my friends were moving away, and I wanted to stay in Newfoundland and Labrador. I graduated with a political science degree, went into all the cabinet ministers, and decided that I'd try to get a job there, within a government department. What I did when I graduated, I brought in my resume with a picture of myself and each cabinet minister that I had gotten the Christmas before, delivered it to their secretaries, who I knew would open the mail with said picture, therefore it wouldn't end up in human resources. The next day I got a phone call, the next day I got a job, and started as a constituency assistant. So
you're smart.
It's all about using opportunities
Absolutely.
and building connections, and it was something that I learned early.
Yeah. I knew you were a bright light. That's why I had you on this show. I'm gonna go to the wine cellar and get some wine to go
Okay.
with this, okay?
Great.
Keep an eye on my rice.
I will do. I'll make sure it doesn't stick. So I like to keep it nice and chunky there because it's going to be nice and colourful. And we're going to put either a chicken breast or a chicken leg with it. So, and away we go.
And we welcome Martin Verhoeks of P&S Fine Wines. Hi, Martin. Nice to have you on the program.
Great to be here, Karl.
Well, we've been up there working away at a dish that's very robust. It's Jamaican jerk chicken. So lots of dark, heavy spicing on the outside. What can we pair
Sounds
with
wonderful. It's not an easy dish to pair wine with, but
I would imagine,
I
yeah.
have selected like 3 wines. The first one, to cool down on the heat a little bit, we have the Prosecco, the Carnival, DOCG from Italy. It was the first Prosecco at the NLC, and it's still the top Prosecco at the NLC. It's about $28. And it would be a good complement to the dish, it's nice and cool.
So this is a wine that people would have when they kind of want to have the champagne experience, but maybe don't want to spend the money.
Don't want to spend the champagne price.
Yeah, it's a nice, it's actually a nice, flavorful bubbly.
It is. It has a lot of fruit. The next wine I chose was the Georges Michel Pinot Noir from Marlborough in New Zealand. It's an excellent wine. It's a little bit lighter, not heavy on tannins, because you don't want anything tannic with a dish that has a lot of spice in it.
Yeah,
a lot of heat.
yeah. That sounds good to me as well.
Yeah, and that one is about $32.
Nice. Okay.
The Pinot Noir. Then the third one is what they call a GSM, Grenache, Syrah and Mourvèdre from southern Rhône.
Interesting.
It's Côte du Rhône. The Grenache has a flavor profile that matches pretty well with the baking spices that you get in the dish that you're making. So this would be an excellent choice for the dish as well.
Yeah.
And they're partially destemmed, so not a lot of tannins. Excellent wine to go with it as well. Yeah.
Just recap those prices again, Martin.
$28, $32, and $28 again. Yeah.
Well, I had to say, I liked what you had to say about this being, the profile of this wine being good for the dish with the baking spices.
It
So
would match it pretty well.
I think I'm going to go with this Côte du Rhône.
Wonderful choice.
I'll let you know.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Now we've just got our pineapple coconut curried rice, and we'll put our last piece of jerk chicken that Lynn prepared for us there, nicely grilled. A little garnish of a pineapple leaf. And let's go and join Lynn and Karl in the dining room.
There we go.
Lovely.
Nice little bit of ruby red there.
Thank you.
Okay, this smells wonderful. Let's see how it tastes. If it tastes as good as it smells, it's going to be quite the experience, I'll tell you that.
It's tender.
It's lovely. You know, I really like that idea of putting the pineapple in the rice.
Yeah,
I think my kids are going to go for that for
I think I'm
sure.
going to have to taste my rice.
Go right ahead, Karl.
Lovely.
I did an outstanding job of cooking that rice.
You did indeed.
I did. Yeah.
The oil.
The oil, yeah, it kept those grains apart so nicely.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about women in politics because I know that's something that you're really interested in, encouraging more women to get involved in politics. 'Cause there ain't enough of you in there.
Well, I think I started really getting involved with women in politics about 3 years ago through an organization called Equal Voice. And it's a multi-partisan organization, which means that all parties are allowed to be represented. So it's rare to have an organization where all political parties are involved, but that's exactly what it is. And so we've really worked hard here in Newfoundland and Labrador to increase the conversation around women in politics. And I think we've really seen that shift over the last 3 years. But when you look at Canada overall, there's only about 25% of women represented in Parliament, you know, far less Newfoundland and Labrador. And if we stay at the same rate we are, we'll be 4 more generations before we reach parity.
Oh, really?
That means it'll be the granddaughter of my daughter.
Wow.
We just can't wait that long.
No.
And so it's important, you know, to keep that conversation going and help more women, you know, take that opportunity to run.
Now, you know what my next question is.
Yes, I do. Go ahead and ask. girl.
Are you going to run one day?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I will run. I think, you know, I've always said that. You know, the thing with politics is timing.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and finding the right timing, you know, for you, you know, the right level of government and, you know, the right position for you. So in the meantime, while I'm not running, I'm happy to help other women get there. But sure enough, my time will come.
Now, did you grow up in a political family, like at the dinner table in the evening? Did your mom and dad and...
Definitely. You know, I think that for my family, eating together was always important. And we ate, you know, family supper together every night. And we always talked about current events. And we always watched the news. So that's why I knew you so well when I was 8 years old, Karl. You know, I was...
You don't have to
But
pull
you know,
it with the
but you know what?
years old thing.
But that's it. You were young too at the time. But you know, but I did. I grew up watching the news. My father was very involved in politics, so I was engaged at an early age, and I engaged my kids too.
Well, listen, I wish you all the success in the world.
Oh, thank you.
Lovely.
Lovely. Thank you so
Lovely
much for
to be with
having
you.
me.
Cheers to you, and we'll be right back with Chef DJ Lambe of Oliver's, who's going to make Jiggs dinner arancini. Oliver's restaurant on Water Street in St. John's has been a perennial favorite of mine for years. In fact, Oliver's, with its Newfoundland-influenced contemporary cuisine, has found favor with many, many Newfoundlanders over the years. And great credit for that must go to the succession of skilled chefs who have worked there over the years, including the current executive chef, DJ Lambe, who is with us today. Hi, DJ.
Good day, sir. How are you doing?
Good. Great to have you on the show.
Awesome.
Great
Glad to
day,
hear.
Jay. So what are we going to be making today?
Today we're going to be making a spin off the classic Italian dish, arancini, except with a Newfoundland twist. We're going to be making it a Jiggs dinner version.
A Jiggs dinner version. Sounds
sir.
excellent.
So tell us, so these are you've already got them shaped and ready to go.
Yes, sir.
Well, actually, you literally have 3 in the
In the fryer, yeah.
in the fryer.
Yeah.
So tell us what goes into one of these arancini.
Okay, well, I prepared arborio rice to be risotto, just with turkey stock. That was from braised turkey legs. Also, there's peas pudding and mashed potatoes incorporated with the risotto to make the fritters. That's not very traditional Italian, but incorporates, I guess, influences from Newfoundland cuisine. I've stuffed them with fresh matzah and breaded them with, essentially I've ground up loaves of savory dressing that I baked with onion and savory in the white bread.
So how did you do the salt beef?
I also braised that in my turkey stock.
Oh, okay.
It's in the risotto.
What's holding it all together, apart from the breadcrumbs? Is there...
The starch in the risotto, they were floured, egg washed,
egg wash.
and-
Okay.
Okay, well, so
and
that's
breaded.
good. And breaded.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Okay. I believe you.
All right.
So we're going to fry some, or
We most certainly are.
So do you want to drop them down then?
Absolutely. It's the best part.
There we go.
okay?
So these are going to take how long?
I find at that size, they don't take any more than 3 or 4 minutes, personally.
Oh, okay. So in the meantime, we can go have a drink. Or no. So in the meantime, you're going to do something with this plate, which is empty, by the way. Did you know?
Oh, wow. You're right. Yeah. I'm just going to make a little salad for garnish.
Okay, you go
Because
ahead.
otherwise the dish completely lacks color.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So what have we got there? We've got some...
We got arugula, baby
Arugula,
arugula,
yeah.
and baby spinach.
Okay.
And this is just some shredded root vegetables.
What have we got in there? Beets, parsnips,
We have-
carrots...
And turnip.
turnip, okay.
Yep. All right.
You know, Julia Child was asked once if there was any ingredient she didn't like, and she said, "Well, I'm not very fond of arugula."
Wow.
Yeah,
Did you say it like that?
she said it exactly like that. Yes.
All right.
Very good.
Okay.
So this is going to be... What
Nice.
kind of a dressing did you put on there?
Oh, it's a dressing made from Dijon lemon juice, agave nectar, and turkey stock.
Okay, oh, very good. Yeah. So you're really keeping with the theme.
Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't go straight up only Jiggs dinner ingredients.
No.
but,
So we've got our salad there now and our...
Did you know that arancini, you probably knew this, arancini is a very popular snack food in Italy. Mm-hmm. And did you also know that it was invented in Sicily
I did not.
in the 10th century when they were under Arab rule?
Oh, really?
No way.
Yes. Is there anything else you'd like?
What did you tell me? I mean, I know I'm good at cooking them. But you know the history. But
Okay, so it looks like we're just about ready there. So what happens now?
what happens now? I'll let them drip for a second. Otherwise, we're going to get a nice greasy salad.
Yeah, we don't want to have that.
No, sir. I'll just kind of triangulate them around this bed of greens. Just mostly intended for garnish.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
Just pretty it up a bit.
I keep telling Steve to triangulate, but he doesn't listen to me.
All right.
You have to
Very good.
triangulate
All right.
your...
So I'm going to douse this with some gravy first. This
So what is that? Is that made
this-
from your turkey?
This is made from my turkey. It is turkey gravy that is cut with a bit of heavy cream.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this really is a Jiggs dinner.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Now, do you serve this at the restaurant?
We don't. I occasionally special it when time
Oh,
allows.
okay, yes, yeah.
Unlike most restaurants of the same cuisine, we don't close between lunch and dinner services.
Oh,
So
right.
we kind of squeeze in the nice specials when time allows.
Yeah.
So you're open all day then?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
I find it
for
gives
you.
us a good advantage and really tests us, to be honest. It's great.
And some chopped parsley on there? From...
Yes, sir.
I have my fork and knife ready.
Just, it is quite a savory dish. I find the parsley, I mean, even fresh veg for garnish really cuts
Oh,
the savory a bit.
Yeah, okay.
Alrighty.
That looks very nice.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
go
not-
ahead, Karl.
it's
I'll
not-
let you- I'll
It's
let you
not
get-
your typical Jiggs dinner, but
No, it's
anyway.
Oh, it looks excellent. I like the way it's held together. I like the gravy over the top, to be quite honest.
thank you.
And going with the vinaigrette, I'm sure that's going to be... I'll just take another quick one, I think.
That's very, very good.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you for being on the show, DJ.
Thank you, sir.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
And are you ready for the sign off?
I am, sir. I am indeed.
That's it for this edition of
One chef.
One Critic.
What came first? The proto-chicken or the proto-chicken egg?
No, not finished. Another bit down there.
Well, let's have some more fun there. Yeah? Now you've got me going. Yes, there you go.
Okay.
Okay.
That's very, very good.
Absolutely.
And I had some other tips that I was going to give, and I've completely forgotten them. This is what making television is really like. You think you've got something memorized, and when you go to do it, it's gone.